Hey, it's me, Bad B. I'm back. It's Golden Week right now, which is a whole bunch of public holidays together. I think there's Showa Day, Greenery Day, Constitutional Memorial Day, and Children's Day, and they're all kind of in the same week. So it's basically a week-long public holiday. I haven't traveled anywhere since I was diagnosed, and usually we kind of travel a lot. It would have been really great to go overseas this week, but you know, cancer, oh well. I didn't have treatment this week as well because it was a public holiday, so it was nice to get a week off from treatment so my body could recover. And my husband and I got the JR East Pass, which takes you through the Tohoku region. So the JR East Pass, Japan Rail Pass, you can get these if you have a foreign passport. So before you had to be a tourist. If you were living in Japan, you couldn't get it, but in the pandemic, obviously there were no tourists, so they opened it up to just people with foreign passports. And it's really reasonably priced. It's only 20,000 yen or 200 bucks roughly for a 5-day pass all over the Tohoku region, so like the northeast. From Tokyo upwards basically, not including Hokkaido. So Tokyo upwards on the main island, on Honshu. Anyway, we got there at about 9, so just after it opened, and it was packed. It's a tiny little room, just like in the rotunda section of Tokyo Station. It's the main entrance to the station. That little room was not air conditioned, and it had been years since I'd seen it like that. So every time I'd gone in there to get a pass previously, it was just empty. And you know, it was really quick. Because it was Golden Week, this is the peak travel time for Japanese people as well. So the Shinkansen, the bullet train, it was packed and hard to book a seat. A lot of the time we weren't even sat together. On the Friday, we went to Ichinoseki in Iwate. And I'd been to Iwate a couple of times before because my cousin used to live there, and then my grandparents, when they had their 60th wedding anniversary, we all went up there for the onsen. It was really nice. Anyway, I'd never been to Ichinoseki. There's a gorge and you can take like a boat through the gorge. I went up there thinking like, alright, this will be good. But we got there and it was surprisingly busy. But from Ichinoseki station, there's a train every 2.5 hours. And it's only about 20 minutes from the station. So we're like, oh, whatever, let's just get a taxi to save the 2 hours. But it's really far away, so the taxi was like 6,000 yen. We got there and the riverboat tickets were 1,800 yen per person, so like 20 bucks. And it was an hour and 20-minute boat ride. Now there were 46 people in the boat, plus the oarsmen. Anyway, the guy we got was hilarious. He made the trip the absolute best thing ever. So every time we go on some sort of tour, usually people are just like really quiet, and like this happened once when I went to New Zealand and we went to Little Hobbiton, and the girl was hilarious and she was cracking jokes. It was like she was talking to a wall, so I was there like, yeah, woo, yeah, to the detriment of my family. This was the same thing. The guy was cracking jokes and like I was the only one laughing, and yeah, he was trying to speak English because there was us, there were some people from China and some people from India, so he was trying to, you know, accommodate the foreigners. He was telling us like the history of the gorge, and yeah, he was absolutely hilarious. Like the whole time we were wrong, it was like 30 minutes up there and he just had this stick with, it looked like kind of a blade on the end, kind of like a scythe actually. The river wasn't that deep. So he used it to sort of like dig into the dirt and maneuver the boat. We got to the other side where there was like a 20-minute walk, but it was basically a 5-minute walk. There was kind of like a little shrine up there, or you could buy a fortune, an emma, a wish board, I guess, to write your wish on and hang up there. And then it was another 30-minute boat ride back. And on the way back, that's where you got to see like the beautiful scene. And this poster is up in Tokyo Station to get people to come to Iwate. It is really beautiful. I'd say the best time to go there would be autumn. So you get the koyo, so the changing of the leaves. Summer, it was, I'm going to call this summer because it was 28 degrees. It was green, it was beautiful. It wasn't too hot yet, and there's this like cool patch with all the wind blowing through the rocks. In winter they have kotatsubune. Kotatsu is kind of like a little coffee table with like a heater in it, and then you have kind of a blanket coming off of it. And in winter this boat turns into kotatsubune. It would be beautiful. It'd be like all snowy and icy, and yeah, absolutely gorgeous. So I'd love to go back in autumn or winter. It was pretty hard to top that. It was like such a good boat trip, and I was laughing the whole time. And on the way back at the end, he's meant to sing like a traditional song. Some of the people like didn't understand what was going on, so they were like talking, and he's just like, okay, so I'm gonna start the song now. I'm gonna start the song now. And then we passed this other boat, and then he's like, yeah, they don't want to listen to the song. Like, I don't want to tell them to be quiet, but they're just like not getting the hint. So we sang the song. And then, you know, everybody clapped, and I was like, yeah, woo, yeah. And then so he's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do an encore. And then he sang another song, which must have been famous because other people were kind of humming along. After he finished, he was like, yeah, woo, yeah. And then he's like, okay, another encore, because I think this might be my last one for the day. And then, you know, at the end, he's just like, namahoso waritai to omoimasu. Like, oh, that's the end of this live broadcast. It was so funny. Yeah, he totally made the whole trip. I'm sure they have a set thing that they have to say, like a script, but he was just hilarious. Presenters like this just make the tour. He was saying the year before the pandemic, they got 40,000 people per year doing that riverboat cruise. And it's the only one of its kind in Japan, because other ones through gorges, they're like 3 or 4 people. There's one in Yamagata, and it's a motorized boat, and he's like, yeah, I want to work there. And he's like, no, just kidding, this is good. It's hard work, is like towing this boat of like 50 people. It was exceptional. But overall, I definitely recommend getting this JR East Pass. If it's your first trip to Japan, obviously do the main spots like Tokyo and Osaka and Nara and Kyoto. If you're going to come back for consequent trips, then definitely get the Tohoku East Pass, because there are such beautiful places up there, and they're kind of off the beaten path. Like, I never would have thought to go here, but it was probably one of the best experiences I've had. I was really lucky. I didn't really feel any side effects except like just extreme fatigue, but it was kind of a good way to ease back into travel. Stay tuned.